Lesson 11.3, using trig ratios to find a side. So now that we've learned from each acute angle what side would be the opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse, we're ready to actually use trig to help us find a missing side, like I talked about in the very beginning of the unit. That's the whole purpose of it. And so they give us one angle, one of the acute angles. We know it's a right triangle, and we only have one of the three sides. It's actually a leg. So Pythagorean theorem wouldn't work. This is not a special right triangle because this is not a 45 or a 30 or a 60. So this is where trig comes in. So since they're giving me this angle, this is the one I'm going to look for, from. So picture standing here. What sides do you have and what side do you need to find? So I have the opposite side or leg to the hypotenuse. So which trig function in SOHCAHTOA has opposite to hypotenuse? Sine. So I'd say sine. Now I'm going to actually put my angle here of 41 degrees, and then I make a ratio of 2.5 over x. Okay, think about when you solve something like this, you have to multiply by x to get out of the denominator. So then that's x times sine of 41 equals 2.5. And then this is all one value. This is something that's going to be put on your calculator. So we want to divide that away from x. So that cancels. So x equals whatever that is. So what I want you to do is, if you have the bigger calculator, turn it on. And then mode is this top middle button. You have to make sure that you're in degree mode since we have degrees in our triangles. There's another thing called radians. We haven't gotten there yet, but that's things that have pi in them. So always make sure you're in degree mode. You would just hit enter over that and then second quit. If you have the smaller calculator, it's in the same spot right here, mode. And then this first thing, see how degree is lit up instead of radians. So that one's good too. Okay, so we're just going to take 2.5 divided by sine, find your sine button, it's right here, of 41 degrees. And it says round to the nearest tenth, so we would say 3.8. That looks reasonable that this side could be 3.8 units long. All right, number 2, we are looking from this 51 degree angle. I do not have the opposite. I have its adjacent leg, and I have the hypotenuse, or that's what I'm trying to find. So which trig function says adjacent and hypotenuse? That would be cosine. Cosine of the angle 51 degrees equals 5.3 over x. So I want to show you a little trick here. Instead of multiplying by x and then dividing by cosine of 51, when x is in the denominator, you can do a little trick here and just swap these two. It speeds you up. So x can be found by taking 5.3 divided by cosine of 51, because that's what this became, was 2.5 divided by sine of 41. Just a shortcut. Ooh. Okay, so now take 5.3 divided by, find cosine button of 51 degrees. And so x would be 8.4 units long for the hypotenuse. Seems reasonable. And then number 3, this is our angle. This is the opposite side they're wanting us to find, and then this is the adjacent. I do not have the hypotenuse. Okay, so which trig function has adjacent and opposite, or opposite and adjacent? That would be tangent. So tangent of 43 degrees is the ratio of x over 56. Okay, this time x is in the numerator. These are easier to solve. You're just multiplying by the denominator of 56. So x is found by taking 56 times tangent of 43 degrees. And that would be 52.2. And that looks reasonable for that side as well.